Do you feel urged to scroll down and see the next piece of content in line? Can you feel the restlessness in your finger, itching to swipe before you've even processed what's on screen? It's a habit we all know, endless, automatic, almost compulsive. This isn't just distraction, it's brain rot. Oxford's 2024 Word of the Year, defined as mental deterioration from consuming endless, trivial content. But here's what Oxford didn't mention. A 2006 comedy film predicted this exact future. Idiocracy, a satire about a society where ads replace education, corporations govern, and garbage towers over cities, was dismissed as absurd. Yet it's a world of anti-intellectualism and environmental decay now feels uncomfortably familiar. Even Henry David Thoreau, an American writer, warned us of brain rot in 1854. Today, algorithms accelerate it. Why? Because your attention isn't just scattered, it's monetized. Welcome to Kaleidoscope. Today we'll look into how the prophecy of idiocracy mirrors our world, from the way entertainment eclipses reason, to the tightening grip of corporate influence, and the quiet creep of environmental decay. Let's dive in. In Idiocracy, the most popular TV show is Ow My Balls, a spectacle of mindless violence where audiences cheer as a man is repeatedly injured. It's absurd, yes, but disturbingly prophetic. Replace groin hits with endless scrolls, and you'll find our modern equivalent, a digital landscape where infotainment reigns supreme. Today, news is reduced to clickbait headlines, education to 60-second explainers, and creativity to trends like Skibidi Toilet, a viral series where singing toilet monsters battle camera-headed humans. Meanwhile, algorithm-driven content farms churn out endless ASMR construction clips, unboxing videos, and ambient cooking montages. These videos, designed to exploit passive attention, generate millions of views and revenue while offering little to no intellectual value. We watch, hypnotized, scrolling in a haze of dopamine hits, training our brains to crave novelty over nuance. The data is stark. A 2015 Microsoft study found the average human attention span has shrunk to 8 seconds, down from 12 seconds in 2000, and shorter than a goldfish's. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube Shorts reward rapid cuts and instant gratification, reshaping how we process information. As media theorist Neil Postman warned in 1985, when a culture becomes buried in trivia, when critical discourse resembles a circus, decline is inevitable. His critique of television now mirrors our algorithmic reality. But this isn't just about wasted time. When complex issues like climate change or inequality are reduced to memes and debates to comment section fights, critical thought erodes. We risk becoming like Idiocracy's citizens, who replaced problem-solving with punchlines. So we must ask, can a society drowning in distraction muster the focus to solve real-world crises? Or are we scripting our own collapse, one viral trend at a time? In Idiocracy, society's collapse begins with a simple substitution. Water is replaced by Brondo, a sports drink marketed as what plants crave. The result? Salt-choked soil, dead crops, and a food crisis. When the film's hero suggests using actual water, he's mocked. Like from the toilet? The joke lands because it's absurd, but also because it's a mirror. Today, corporations don't sell us sports drinks as irrigation substitutes. Instead, they sell something subtler: control. Google dictates what we search, Meta curates what we see, and Amazon shapes what we buy. Their algorithms, optimized for profit, turn our attention into a commodity, a modern-day Brondo. Take Meta. In 2023, the EU fined it $1.3 billion for illegally harvesting user data, a drop in the ocean for a company worth $800 billion. The message is clear. Corporate power often operates above the law, prioritizing engagement over ethics. But this isn't just about fines or data leaks. Like Brondo's monopoly in Idiocracy, big tech's dominance reshapes culture itself. Amazon's algorithms don't just recommend products, they decide which books get published, which trends go viral, and which small businesses survive. Author Naomi Klein predicted this in her 1999 book, No Logo, arguing that brands have become the high priests of a new religion, one where profit eclipses public good. The parallels are uncanny. Brondo's slogan, "It's got electrolytes," isn't so different from tech giants touting innovation while stripping privacy or monetizing mental health. Both rely on manufactured necessity, convincing us we can't live without their product, even as it poisons the system. So we're left with a question Idiocracy never answers. When corporations govern more than governments, when their algorithms script our choices, who truly holds power? Is progress still possible when profit drives every decision? Or are we, like the film's citizens, too distracted by the next swipe to notice the crisis in plain sight? In Idiocracy, the landscape is a wasteland, skyscrapers buried under trash, fields barren from Brondo's salt-choked soil, and rivers of sludge. The film's environmental collapse is played for laughs until you realize we're already scripting the same future. Today, the UN reports that global waste production will surge 70% by 2050. With plastic outnumbering fish in the ocean by weight before 2100. Meanwhile, fast fashion brands produce 100 billion garments annually, while 60% end up in landfills within a year. Like Brondo's electrolytes, corporations sell us endless consumption as progress, masking the rot beneath. Take Amazon. In 2023 alone, its plastic packaging waste totaled 709 million pounds, enough to circle the Earth 800 times. But the crisis runs deeper. The IPCC warns that global temperatures will breach 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030, triggering irreversible damage. Yet fossil fuel giants like ExxonMobil and Shell spent $4.3 billion lobbying governments since 2016 to delay climate action. It's a vicious cycle. Corporate greed fuels environmental decay, which fuels desperation, which generates more consumption. Idiocracy's garbage mountains, they're already here, in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, in burning landfills, poisoning air from India to Brazil. Natural historian David Attenborough once said, "The future of life on Earth depends on our ability to take action. If we don't, the collapse of our civilizations is on the horizon." His words echo Idiocracy's warning. A society that prioritizes profit over preservation is one generation away from ruin. But here's the twist the film missed. We still have time. Renewable energy adoption is accelerating. Youth-led climate lawsuits are forcing governments to act. Yet progress is glacial compared to the avalanche of damage. So we must ask, are we, like Idiocracy's citizens, too distracted by the next viral trend to see the collapse in plain sight? Or will we rewrite the ending, replacing complacency with collective action before the credits roll? The film shows schools have been replaced by corporate-sponsored learning videos. Children chant ad jingles instead of math formulas, and history lessons are reduced to cartoonish propaganda. It's a world where ignorance isn't accidental, it's engineered. But this isn't just satire. Consider the real-world erosion of critical education. In 2023, the U.S. slashed funding for arts and humanities programs by 22%, prioritizing standardized testing over creative thinking. Meanwhile, social studies curricula increasingly omit systemic racism and climate science, as lawmakers in states like Florida and Texas ban divisive concepts from classrooms. Scholar Noam Chomsky calls this manufactured ignorance, a system where institutions, intentionally or not, prioritize compliance over curiosity. The same pattern repeats in media. Clickbait headlines and outrage-driven news cycles dominate. In its 2024 Digital News Report, the Reuters Institute found that 60% of viral news content across various platforms, including Facebook, is characterized as sensationalized or misleading. Algorithms amplify conspiracy theories and partisan content because conflict drives clicks, and clicks drive profit. Tech companies, like Idiocracy's Brainrot Corp, thrive on this cycle. The less we question, the more we consume. Even entertainment follows suit. Reality TV and viral stunts like Think Drama Alert or Jake Paul's antics rake in billions by normalizing chaos over substance. Media theorist Neil Postman warned in Amusing Ourselves to Death, when a culture becomes a burlesque of itself, those in power stay in power by default. So who benefits? Corporations profit from distracted, disengaged populations. Political actors exploit polarization, knowing a divided public can't unite to demand accountability. And platforms like TikTok and Facebook, designed to fragment attention, secure lifelong users, and lifelong revenue. But here's the unsettling question Idiocracy forces us to confront. Is this dumbing down deliberate? Or have we sleepwalked into a system where ignorance is simply profitable? The answer may lie in both. As Chomsky argues, the smart way to keep people passive is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion. Whether by design or indifference, the outcome is the same. A society too overwhelmed by trivia to challenge the status quo. What's left is a choice. Do we keep scrolling or start seeing the system for what it is? President Camacho sits in a crumbling White House, surrounded by advisors who shrug as crops die and cities drown in garbage. When Joe proposes a solution using water instead of Brawndo, the response is apathy. But Brawndo's got electrolytes. The system isn't just broken, it's paralyzed by inertia. Fast forward to today. In 2023, the U.S. Congress held 47 hearings on social media's harms to youth mental health, yet passed 0 major regulations. Tech giants spent $124 million lobbying lawmakers to stall reforms, while platforms like TikTok and Instagram continued monetizing teen anxiety. Why? Because inaction is profitable. The pattern repeats globally. The EU's landmark Digital Services Act, designed to rein in big tech, took 4 years to draft. By the time it passed, algorithms had already evolved to bypass its rules. Scholar Yuval Noah Harari frames this lag in 21 lessons for the 21st century. Humans wield godlike power over technology, yet our institutions still operate with medieval speed. But institutional failure isn't just about slow laws. It's also about cultural complacency. We've normalized the absurd. Politicians debate UFOs while climate treaties collapse. Schools ban books, but not smartphones. And voters, bombarded by misinformation, struggle to separate fact from conspiracy. A 2024 Stanford study found 41% of adults globally can't identify AI-generated deepfakes. Even when action is attempted, it's often performative. Meta's wellness tools for screen time? A band-aid on a bullet wound. Meanwhile, fossil fuel CEOs tout green initiatives while funding climate denial groups, a tactic straight from Big Tobacco's playbook. Philosopher Byung-Chul Han offers a grim diagnosis. Neoliberalism turns citizens into consumers, and democracy into a marketplace of distractions. In this system, outrage fuels engagement, polarization drives profit, and institutional trust crumbles, which forces a haunting question. Are governments and corporations unable to act or unwilling? Idiocracy answers with dark humor. When Joe begs leaders to act, they throw money at the problem, literally printing cash to solve the food crisis. Today we throw thoughts and prayers at school shootings, awareness campaigns at climate disasters, and self-care apps at a mental health epidemic. The lesson is clear. Systems built on short-term gains can't solve long-term crises. But unlike Idiocracy's citizens, we still have a choice to demand better or accept decay. The real dystopia isn't the collapse itself. It's the silence of those who could stop it. In Idiocracy, Joe's solution is laughably simple. Replace Brondo with water. But the system resists. Profit, inertia, and ignorance block progress. Today, our crises are more complex, but scholars argue solutions exist if we're bold enough to act. Tech critic Cal Newport argues in Digital Minimalism that reclaiming focus starts with intentional tech use. He urges digital decluttering, deleting addictive apps, scheduling screen time, and prioritizing deep work. Norway's recent ban of Meta's behavioral ads, forcing users to opt into tracking, shows policy can aid this shift. Imagine a world where algorithms prioritize wisdom over watch time. Naomi Klein's book, This Changes Everything, calls for dismantling corporate monopolies through antitrust laws and data ownership rights. The EU's Digital Services Act, which fines platforms for toxic content, is a start. But scholar Shoshana Zuboff pushes further. We must outlaw surveillance capitalism's core practices, trading human futures for profit. To combat anti-intellectualism, historian Timothy Snyder advocates for critical patriotism, teaching media literacy, civics, and climate science as survival skills. Finland's school system, ranked #1 globally, embeds fact-checking and source analysis into every subject. Meanwhile, youth-led groups like Gen Z for Change use TikTok to mobilize climate strikes and voter drives, proving education can thrive even on flawed platforms. Ecologist Robin Wall Kimmerer urges merging indigenous wisdom with modern science. Costa Rica, once deforested, now runs on 99% renewable energy by valuing ecosystems over extraction. Scholar Andreas Malm adds, climate action must target the root, nationalize fossil fuels, jail lobbyists, and fund green tech at wartime speed. Yuval Noah Harari warns in 21 lessons. Democracy needs a software update. Iceland's crowdsourced constitution and Taiwan's digital democracy platform, which lets citizens co-write laws, prove governance can evolve. Even Idiocracy's President Camacho eventually listens to experts. The lesson? Institutions can adapt if pressured. Idiocracy ends with Joe's water plan working, crops grow, society stirs awake. But real change isn't a Hollywood fix. It's slow, collective, and messy. As Carl Sagan wrote, we can't solve problems with the same thinking that created them. So, will we keep scrolling into collapse or rewrite the script, replacing Brondo with better choices, one swipe at a time? The answer isn't in algorithms, it's in us. Thank you for joining this exploration. If you'd like to delve deeper into the ideas shaping our world, subscribe to Kaleidoscope. In our next episode, we'll examine our concepts of reality, from ancient philosophy to modern parables, and ask how we define our perception of truth. Until then, stay curious,